It's Tom, Robert works with me. So you literally got us to yourself here. So you want to shoot with any questions?
Yeah,
Um,
we can. So I have my wife Mandy and our mutual friend Amber here, and Amber's just recently bought a consigned unit. It was consigned, and she kind of took the contract over. Um, what do you think is the best way to do consignments from start to finish? You know, as far as writing a contract to stocking and listing and splitting. I mean, what has worked best for you?
yeah, so the biggest thing I would say as far as consignment, kind of our rule of thumb with consignment is, first of all, we found it's best to not take a consignment unit unless you pretty much have full-time possession of it. Just because if people are using them, which it sounds like your friend bought it as an investment then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so we have quite a few consignment rigs in our inventory, and they're all full time with us.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things we've learned throughout the years is that. And then, okay, so what was go ahead and repeat your
So
question.
I guess like so right now the way that we do it as a company is that we excuse me, so we handle like the repairs, the maintenance. That's kind of that makes us competitive, but that gives us a competitive edge to tell the consumer, hey, we do all the maintenance, we do all the repairs. What do you think? Is that a wise thing to say? Should we not be saying that? Because we offer it at no charge to our consigners. Now, of course, I'm not talking about if a renter damages something. Of course, we're going to cover that. But I'm talking about, I may, if when their RV is in my possession as a consignment unit, if the roof needs sealed, I seal it. If the unit needs tires, I'm putting tires on it. If the axles need greased, I'm doing that. Mainly because I have the unit, I have possession of the unit 100% of the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely do not recommend that as far as, I mean, what's your split with the owner?
50-50.
Okay. Then yeah, I definitely wouldn't do that. I mean, if you're at like maybe a 70-30, in your favor, then maybe, but at the end of the day, that's their asset. So it's their responsibility to maintain it. And, when you say competitive advantage as well, I mean, do you even really have much competition as far as people that are doing management, within a
No. So
25-mile radius of you?
no. So we're the largest company within, not hours. There's another guy in Myrtle Beach that does it. There's a few players down there, but by far we're the largest.
Okay.
And the advantage that we have over him is that we are pet friendly and he is not.
Okay. Yeah. So I that would probably be the last, trick in my bag of tricks, as far as this industry continues to grow. As far as if I had to start doing something like that, but then my splits would change. Because
Okay.
you're just, what if a air conditioner goes out or you've got a bad ground somewhere and you're chasing it for 20 hours. Yeah, I don't think it's needed, I guess would be my short answer to that. I don't think you need that for a competitive advantage because really in this industry, there's really not a lot of competition yet.
No, there's not.
You know,
We're just trying to be out front. We're right at about 3 years old almost. We're at 40 units.
okay. Yeah, I definitely would not be doing that. You could do a discounted rate on your services. That could be a competitive advantage. Do you have a tech on staff that works for you? I'm guessing with that many
We
units?
do. Yeah, it's a RVIA level 4 tech.
Okay. So, and what's your average tech rate in that area? 120, 40?
No, it's, well, you talking about tech rate or retail rate?
Yeah, like a retail tech rate. Yep.
189.
Okay. So you could give them heck, if you wanted and still have a competitive advantage, give them a 25% discount,
Yeah,
you know,
not bad. Yeah,
and then only mark your parts up X amount of percentage instead of, in the RV industry, a lot of industries markup is, 50 to 100%. So just do a lower markup, which they don't even necessarily know that the consumer, I'm guessing, doesn't even really know that you're offering them an advantage because they probably haven't even talked to any other management companies or even heard of management. You're probably the one that introduced the idea to them.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
always something that we've always put in our spiel, hey, because that is a question that we get, what is going to happen to my rig while you have it? And
Yeah.
we've told every single one of them, like, we will handle the maintenance while it's in our possession.
which, knock on wood, we've been pretty lucky with thus far.
Right. And there is a 90-day contingency on that so that people can't hand us a heap and expect us to put everything back in working condition.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you guys, where are you guys at again?
North Carolina, North and South Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't have a franchise there. Heck, I'll send you 50 units if you're going to maintenance them all for me. That's money in the. Yeah, you don't need to do it. There's no need. You can, if you need to down the road, you could offer that as, the discounted rate.
That's
If you get competition, but honestly, with you guys dominating the area like you are, I think you probably have already solidified your reputation, and to see somebody try and, rise up in your area probably won't even happen necessarily.
Right.
And if it does, that's something in your back pocket. But do this, just log your maintenance for. I wouldn't even log your maintenance to see how much it's.
Come on,
losing,
baby.
because it's losing you a ton of money.
Jesus God.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. You've got all those people that are under management, so you'd probably have to kind of, you'd have to slowly, phase that out. But I think people are going to understand. I mean, honestly, if you cut them all cold turkey tomorrow and just say, hey, this is a program change we're making, you get a 25% discount across the board. You say you lose 20% of your fleet, you could do some marketing and gain that right back.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions you guys can think of? Otherwise, I'll message Rebecca here. I see if she's got a question. I just had to mute her. I think she was having something going on there in the background.
I'm sorry. No, I don't have a question yet. I'm looking for my
Oh, there you
question.
go. Okay. You're what?
Hi. I'm looking for my question. Don't have one yet.
Oh, looking for a question. Okay. Hey, that's good.
Yeah,
You're just trying
sorry.
to think it out there. Well, tell us, Rebecca, where are you at in your RV rental journey?
Well, I am, this is my first year, and I purchased two campers to do
Okay.
this with. We're not using our Grand Design. That's our retirement home we're hoping for down the road. But anyways, I'm really getting a lot of rentals right now. I mean, I'm already on like my fifth one, and I just put them on this last month. I've only actually put the one camper on. I'm still in the process of putting the second one on. My photographer just finished pictures.
Oh, good for you. Professional.
So yeah, I want to make this, I'd like to make this a go for, right now I own, I own like 3 businesses. So this would be an extra business that we have on board. It's kind of like I had said in my introduction, I'm a little bit of an entrepreneurial junkie, but I'm having fun with it. I like decorating them, and kind of Airbnb-ing them. But right now I'm in the process of figuring out whether my RV share rep told me the correct way to do my delivery, because I'm getting a lot of inquiries, first of all, saying, I'm confused about your delivery rate. And my delivery rate, this is what he told me to state: $150 for the first 0 miles and $4 a mile up to 100 miles. Is that, I didn't have it that way before, but he called me, we went over my whole listing, and that's what he said he recommended. But I'm getting a whole lot of people asking me like, I don't understand this.
Yeah. Say that one more time, how he told you to list it?
Okay, he had me listed at $150 for the first 0 miles, and or plus $4 a mile up to 100 miles, which that's what I agreed on, 100 miles. So basically, I think what he's saying, because I had to have him re-explain that, was flat rate 150 no matter how far you're going.
Yeah.
And then add $4 a mile, and it's all one way. So that makes it, that kind of breaks it down to $1 a mile, because I'm going to be going 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah, that does sound confusing to me as well.
Yeah, I don't know what to do to make it better for people. Or can someone recommend, is that too high? Is that not right?
Well, you know, that the delivery fees really come down, you know, if you're an owner operator and it's your travel trailer, it really comes down to, you know, are you trying to make money on the delivery? Are you trying to just, you know, get it there and back, you know, not lose money? Are you trying to factor in wear and tear of your vehicle and your time? So really that's what you got to figure out first. If you're, you know, what's your nightly minimum?
Well, right now, we had talked about this last week. I said, do you think it's a good idea that I went low? And I did. I've got it down to $85, believe it or not, but it's $85 a night. I'm trying to get my reviews.
And then how many nights though? What's your nightly minimums? Like,
Well, you're not going to be happy with me for sure, because I have a 2 night.
okay. So yeah, because then
I
that's
live in
that's a
Ohio.
factor.
Yeah, I live in Ohio. I don't live in a, you know, I used to live in Orlando, so I know how hopping that is. I don't live in a big state that has, it's mostly like just local, you know, no one's flying in to Ohio here.
You know, typically for delivery, yeah, simpler for anybody is better when it comes to understanding everything. So you're gonna deliver it up to 100 miles.
I said that. Now I'm starting to wonder if I'm crazy. That's far.
Well, I mean, you know, you're not crazy, but if you own 3 businesses and you're gonna travel 100 miles to deliver your travel trailer for 2 days,
Right.
say, yeah, you know, if you're going with the lower nightly minimums, you know, because you think that's going to help you with, you know, building the reviews and this and that to churn more rentals, you know, that's fine, do that. But then maybe lower how far you're delivering it and just have a set fee, you know, so it's whatever, $174, just some weird random number that, you know, not like $200, something that's more random. It just sticks out to people better. And then just say up to 60 miles.
Okay.
Hey, honey, daddy's in a meeting, okay? Because then it's, you know, there'll be rentals where you go 5-10 miles and you make some money. There'll be rentals where you go the full amount and you break even or lose a couple bucks, you know. But yeah, I would definitely, 100 miles is quite a distance.
Yeah, I started thinking about that when someone sent me a quote and actually booked with me. I think we were going about an hour away, which is like 50 miles, or I can't remember, something like that. My daughter looked at me and she goes, "Are you sure you want to do that, Mom?" And I went,
yeah, is this worth it? Yeah. Yeah, and see, that's the thing, unfortunately, about the platforms is they're saying they're coaching you what's in their interest. Because if they can get you to drive this thing to, you know, up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, they're going to do it, you know, because it's all about meeting the demand that they're getting. They don't necessarily care about
I was trying to figure out how he was benefiting from this, but yeah, you're right. It's probably what it is.
They're just, yeah, they're putting millions of dollars out to get those Google leads onto their website, and they're trying to convert, you know, into a customer. So I would say 50 miles would definitely be a max. And, you know, if you're going to do that far, yeah, definitely raise your nightly minimum.
Okay, yeah, yeah, you talked about doing a longer minimum night.
Screenshot of our software of how we have 6 nights our average and we do thousands of bookings a year.
Now, that's what I was asking you last week. Do you think that's because you are in more of a touristy area? Where will people look at mine and go, hey, I just want to get away for a weekend, you know?
Not necessarily. I mean, we got locations all around the country. It's really, we're not necessarily, it's not necessarily so much about where you're located. It's about it's not the geographic of where you're at. It's more the demographic we're going after. So we're looking for mom that's taking her kids on their summer vacation. That's what they do. You know, they go for a
Right.
week to this state campground, and that's where she went when she was a kid. And so it's more of our demographic. That's the customer we're going after. So it
Okay.
doesn't matter, you know, if you're in an area where there's campgrounds, well then great, you're geographically where you need to be. And now it's
Yeah.
just your demographic. Who's your ideal customer?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. We've got a question that was messaged in here. Actually, a couple things here. Let me take a look at this. Robert was saying, yeah, great job on the professional photographer. That is definitely worth something investing in for sure. MTRV rental said that seems high. Yep, definitely agree with that. And then Robert said, have you considered contracting drivers to deliver your units? Yeah, that's a really good point. So yeah, deliver the thing 100 miles, but find somebody to do that for you. So we're definitely big into having our franchisees do that as far as find yourself drivers. You know, there is so many old guys out there with trucks. I had 2 old guys in Michigan that had these beautiful trucks. They're retired. They literally would have me give them gas money. Like I had to convince them to take a paycheck from me because I wanted them to stick around when they were doing it and they weren't enjoying it. You know, that one or two renter they had to deal with or those deliveries. So you go to the VFW or go in, maybe not so much. Well, Facebook is more like kind of like Craigslist now. Go on a Craigslist, post an ad. Yeah, we would find retired guys with trucks that they literally just had a blast delivering the campers and setting them up and watching the joy on these little kids' faces when they walk into the big camper. So yeah, outsourcing is definitely a very valid point, Robert. That's something that we stress to people is, yeah, find somebody to do the deliveries for you. And then, free up your time. And sometimes too, I had years where I would do the deliveries and I'd bring my kids and we'd make it fun, or I'd kind of where we're going. It was like, yeah, great. I'll go deliver that camper. I'd love to check out that campground or stop by a restaurant in that area. And then next question here, and is it Kong? Koong, Kong? We're going to go with that unless you want to chime in and say, correct me on that. It says, can you break down or go into more detail about RV rental insurance outside the platform, specifically using the renter's insurance to insure your RV when they rent it out? Yeah, so that's a tricky one. Rental insurance, I'll drop a link to. Actually, if you go into our Facebook group, the RV Share Outdoorsy Good Sam RV Rentals group, or if you go to our RV Rental Business Accelerator Facebook group, there's a link in there that has a training on insurance and all the different options. But using the renter's insurance, I definitely would be careful with that unless you get like a signed, man, it's been so long that we've done that I don't even remember what it's called, a rider. Unless you get like a signed rider from their agent, showing that, hey, we will cover this RV and that has your VIN number on it for these dates, for all the situations. But we've just stepped away from it as we scaled and, grew as large as we are. If it's just you and it's one RV and you want to take the time to do that, there are several carriers out there that do extend their policies to rentals or tow vehicles, stuff like that. But you know, or you can look into the other options out there, like our MBA insurance is the biggest one. They've been around since 1978. But we found it's honestly best to just go with whatever platform the booking comes through. We typically just go with their insurance because they know the product, they know how to, you know, help with the claim. Sometimes that just seems to be the best option. Let me scroll down here a little bit more. Yeah, can you post the link to those groups? Yeah, 1 second here. Let me find. I'm gonna
I'm
send you
already in
our,
the process of it. I just dropped one. What was the other one that you mentioned?
oh, of the Facebook groups.
Yeah, I got the RV Share Outdoorsy Good Sam one, but you mentioned two.
Yeah, put it in there because right at the top of that group in the like the pinned stuff, there is that insurance freebie handout that we have. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that you'll find it right in there. I don't know if our RVRBA Facebook group, if that actually became a closed group for only our members. So yeah, the one that the first one's good, Robert. Yep, the RV rental owners, yeah. All right.
Okay, perfect.
Any more questions you guys want to, Tom, you or your team got any more questions?
Yeah, but had you not asked me, I'd have probably asked you, but now I don't remember what it was. Probably something due to something along the line of like a pricing matrix. As far as like, what do you recommend to set up for pricing? Because like, you know, when I take on a consigned unit, typically, what I ask is, you know, are you making payments on the rig still? Of course, 99% of the time they are. What the matrix that I've come up with, or the pricing strategy that I've come up with, is that I make the renter's payment back in 3 days, 3 days of rental, which of course is 6 days to my consigners because of my 50-50 split. So is there you know, do you recommend a certain strategy? Is there an industry standard strategy, or is it just kind of like, hey, you know, throw shit to the wind, throw stuff to the wind and see what sticks?
So yeah, as far as the pricing, there's two main categories. Really, there's, if it's a travel trailer, how many people does it sleep? And then the two main categories, what kind of unit is it? You know, is it a drivable? If it's a drivable, you're automatically going to get, you know, more, obviously. And then if it's a travel trailer, how many people does it sleep? That's a good starting point. And then, you know, based on bells and whistles, and really, if you think about it, most of the bookings for most companies are coming from, you know, RV Share, Outdoorsy, Good Sam, whatever. So really that's when the consumer is looking for the RV, say they go to RV Share and they pull up your area and it shows your RVs and the other RVs. That's really the pricing matrix as far as in their mind, what they're thinking. That's
Right.
like, they don't have a standard in their mind. They're thinking, well, wait, no, hotels normally $99 for a queen bed. No, the platform is telling them the standard based on what they're seeing.
Right.
So you look and you see, all right, there's 15 RVs that popped up in my, you know, in my search results from where I'm looking at. And
Now,
then
do
they
you-
look at those prices.
Do you price closely to a hotel? I mean, if you got a ton of hotels, and like in my location in Myrtle Beach, of course, I've got hotels everywhere. I've got campgrounds with cabins everywhere. You know, what would your strategy be in there, or do you just try to remain competitive? I mean, that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, so that's your starting point as far as seeing what other people are charging. And then after that, really, it comes down to value. So you could have somebody on there that's charging, you know, say $150 for an RV, which you know could get $250 a night. Well, then what you got to do is show your value better, which would be better presentation of pictures, this and that. And what I also recommend is actually reach out to your competition and teach them, because it's just, you know, Joe Blow with one RV. You just reach out to them. Hey, I own a large RV rental company, you know, so I'm kind of your competitor, but I want to help you out because you've got wear and tear on your RV and all this stuff. You know, you actually should be charging $250 a night for that. You're really underselling yourself and you're not factoring in depreciation and the wear on your engine and mileage. And when you go to sell it, what it's actually going to be worth. I've done that with several of my competitors, like educating them. Hey, you're kind of messing me up a little by how low your unit's priced at, and you're kind of messing yourself up a little, you know? So teaching people, but really, yeah, if you think about it from a base, is that platform is kind of setting the standard. So if somebody was to do a search in your area and you've got 80% of the inventory, well, then really you're the one who's actually setting the pace for the pricing, because the other 20% that's setting whatever price they're setting it at, they're going to book out really quick. Their calendar's full now, and now you're the next option. So they
Right.
wouldn't actually show up in the search results for the dates they're looking at. Only your inventory would show up at your pricing.
Right. So the other question I was going to ask you, and hope I don't jump in front of anyone. The other question I was going to ask you is, you know, do you, when you're looking to book out, I mean, anything, I guess, really, do you typically wait for the reservations to come in, or do you sometimes approach local businesses? So like what we do is I'm a veteran myself, so we work real closely with like special operations wounded warriors, stuff like that. We work closely with a horse park, but we've tried to be more active in our local community here lately. You know, sponsoring events, or, you know, just being active in the community just to try to work with local businesses. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, definitely like the horsing events. That's definitely a great route to go, where it's going to be like a consistent relationship, and you know you're going to get consistent business from them. You know, as far as the other stuff, like local brand awareness, it would be more of the heart of you just wanting to give back to your community. You know, as far as, you know, doing things for local businesses and stuff like that. It's not necessarily going to generate you a lot of business in the long run. You know, but it's definitely not bad for branding purposes, just for having your name out there. I don't know if it will necessarily equate to more business per se. But it's definitely great, you know, for branding.
Well, I didn't know if you had a certain way, you know, you would reach out to a business and just say, you know, hey, I am ABC rental company, you know, if I can help you, let me know. If there's a certain pitch that you like to use that you've been successful using.
Oh, as far as, yeah, you know, honestly, between our remarketing to our current database in the platforms that we market, you know, there's really not, we stay pretty busy.
Right.
There are people that find, like, we've got a branch in Georgia that they're into NASCAR. So
Okay.
between us and the local franchise, you know, we did some sponsoring on this NASCAR, you know, and that helped create a lot of awareness. I think we actually got some consignment management units out of it and another franchise. So it was good as far as that. But too, it's fun just because it's a way to, if it's something you're passionate about, you know, the racing community, like Gabby is in Georgia, it's something fun for them because they can take their business revenue, have fun inside that racing community. And, you know, it's like a perk for them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So when you find stuff like that, you know, or sponsoring your kids, you know, softball team, different things like that, you know, you might not necessarily see a direct benefit from it, but it's cool to give back to the community.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. Let me see here what we got. Any questions in the chat? Hey, Stacy, if you're listening, and there's any questions on Facebook, I haven't really been monitoring that. Let me know if you got any. Next question is, payment system do you have outside of the platforms? So we use Wheelbase, which is Outdoorsy dealership software. I think you have to have 5 units now to utilize Wheelbase. But outside of that, before Wheelbase, we used PayPal, which PayPal is tricky. We've had them close us down before and then open us back up. And the industry that we're in, the rental industry. Or what you could do if you have like an LLC set up and tax ID number and all that stuff, then you could go get an actual merchant account. But yeah, we typically, and two, also, if you don't have like a solid solution for your insurance and different things like that, if you're just beginning and you want to be safe and make sure you're protecting yourself and your unit and your renters, really what you could do is just direct people to, let's say you prefer RV share or outdoorsy, you could direct them right to the platform. So if it's a lead that you generate through Facebook or your own marketing or whatever it is, you could just, refer them right back to one of the platforms. That way you can, take advantage of the insurance. I know they got their fees that they get you for and stuff like that, but you could definitely do that just for, safety and peace of mind and insurance and credibility too, credibility of, yeah, I'm on this platform and here's my reviews. And that also helps you build reviews because people are going through RV Share. You could actually go into RV Share as well and set up a separate account and get set up as an affiliate where you're sending them rental leads. So then you make a little bit of money on that, where you send the rental lead through your RV Share affiliate link and then you make some money there. Robert says, absolutely. Yeah, 4-H, yeah, we have a huge 4-H here in Okeechobee. I'm in the Cowtown, USA, it's called. I mean, there is tons and tons of 4-H stuff. So, yep, 4-H events, fairs, festivals, stuff like that. Yeah, so as far as, marketing to local businesses, yeah, ones that, would have a need for your services, or two, get creative as far as, if they're, you have different times where, it's slower, this or that, well, then generate a demand. You've got a local factory in your area, that has 50, 100 employees. Bring them the idea, hey, I'd like to do an employee appreciation for you guys. You can do it for your, top 8 producers. And what we can do is we can bring 8 RVs here. We can set them right up in your parking lot. You can do we'll do a cookout, this and that, like create an event, like literally place the idea in their mind of how they could have a rental experience. Or you could say, yeah, or if you want to step it up a notch, we have this local campground that we're partnered with. We can put it right there. Or yeah, the horse park that you're partnered with, hey, we can bring them to this horse park. So you could literally be generating a demand, even talk to the horse park and say, hey, well, you got a couple horses and maybe a horse trainer that wants to build their business or, rent more spots at their stables. So you're literally connecting the dots and creating this idea for the local business. So yeah, you've got your value of what you bring to the table. Think of the value of what a couple other businesses bring to the table, collaborate together and put together some sort of event. Yeah, that's fun when you get into that kind of stuff with marketing.
We own 2 ice cream stores. This is Rebecca. And yeah, we are like really big into marketing and sponsoring in our community. And it is amazing. Like we'll even give coupons for the kids for reading programs or math quiz. I'm not saying for us to do that for trailers, but you can do the same thing, give a discount off to if you have a local company, nearby.
Yeah, definitely.
There's just so much you can do.
Yeah. So even like that with the local ice cream store, Tom, you could go to the ice cream store and say, hey, I want to buy, coupons for 15 ice cream cones. And I want you to hand them out, when you see a family come that, kind of fits this, husband, wife, 2, 3 kids, give them this, tell them the ice cream was paid for by MTRV Rentals, and then give them my flyer. And then you could do vice versa. The ice cream store could give you coupons and you can place them inside your RVs.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So
Very good idea.
To your point, Gar, sorry, Rebecca, I didn't mean to jump in front of
No,
you.
you're okay. You're okay.
So there's something that we've thought about doing, and it's one of those ideas, and I'm sure you know that you talk about doing it, you talk about doing it, you talk about doing it, you never do it, right? So we've talked about getting bars of soap from, you know, the girl down the street that sells her soap on Etsy and letting her put her QR code and website on it. And the little old lady on the corner that makes popcorn, you know, and putting a local basket together, a local business basket, like a welcoming basket on your bigger rentals or on your luxury trailers or whatever you want to call it. Have you ever done anything like that? Have you ever had any success, or are you essentially just doing too much?
Sorry, I lost it there for a second. Go ahead and ask that question again.
So on your on that with partnering with the local businesses and stuff, you know, one of the things that we've talked about doing, though it's an idea that we say we're going to do and never actually execute it, is, you know, getting a bar of soap from the girl that sells her soap on Etsy down the street, you know, and the college girl that's selling her popcorn that's, you know, flavored. And you put little samples together and you put it in a basket, like a welcome basket, and you put it in your bigger RVs or your longer rentals or whatever, every rental, who cares? Is that something you haven't had any experience with, or do you think that like you're doing too much, just let the trailer go out and come back?
You know, that's totally up to you, and as far as how plugged into the community you want to be. You know, you can be plugged into the community and do all these great things that, you know, really give you some really good branding. They might not necessarily turn into a ton of business, but give you some good branding. You're plugged into the community, you know, which, let's say it doesn't benefit your day-to-day business a whole bunch per se. Well, what happens when you have this great branding and all of a sudden you go to launch your next business? And then everybody knows, oh, I know Tom, he owns that RV rental company and they did this for this group and they did this for that group. And again, too, at the end of the day, a lot of stuff is all about building your database. So say you get involved in all these different things and you're building your network and your database, you know, okay, I've got these partnerships, I've got these, you know, relationships. And then you have your next business idea or some sort of promotion, or all of a sudden some sort of cause hits your heart that you want to, you know, then you have that database and you have that, you know, that community backing where you can plug that in. So it just depends on, you know, what the goal of doing it is. If the goal is, does it turn directly right in back into business? Not necessarily, but there's an old BNI saying, which is Business Networkers International, started back in the 70s, and it's called the giver's gain. It's all about just focus on giving and you'll gain, you know, you'll get stuff. You might not necessarily know how you're going to receive it, but you will receive, you know, in return.
Right.
Another idea also for everybody is like our local high school approached us about our ice cream coupons, because they're having, every year they have for the athletics department, they have I don't even know what they're calling it actually, but they sell out every year 300 tickets. And they wanted us to, you could either put a basket together or just a donation. So we give them, you know, coupons, free ice creams. Well, then I started thinking, wait a minute, this is a great way for me to introduce our trailer company, you know, RV company. So we put together something and we're giving away like a free weekend or, you know, $100 off. We haven't come to the exact what we're going to use, but we're going to come up this weekend because it's due next week. But that's another way too, you know, get and see any kind of fundraisers that your schools do and see if you can get together and do some type of donation to them to raffle off.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's a great idea. Yep, there's so much you can do in marketing. I mean, at the end of the day, one of my mentors says everything is marketing. Everything we do is marketing. Our kids coming up to us and asking us for why they should get an ice cream cone. They're marketing to us. They're trying to sell us on why we should get them an ice cream cone. You know, so everything we do at the end of the day is marketing. We're marketing to our kids, our spouses, our friends, our family. Everything we do is marketing. Let me look in the chat here, see if we got any more. Don't see any more questions. Check on Facebook here once. I don't see anything. Oh, wait, Stacy. Oh, Rebecca. Okay, Stacy just messaged. She said, Rebecca, that you're in our membership, in our R3 program.
Yes, I am.
Oh,
I'm
awesome.
excited
Okay.
about it. Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
excited about it.
How's it been going? Have you dove in much yet, or?
I have, yes. And I actually went into the contract. I was looking at that. I have some questions I'm going to get on live, or the is it live every day?
Oh,
that-
the open office hours?
Yes, yes. I'm going to get on with somebody tomorrow, whoever's on, and ask some questions. I got a list of questions to ask. But yes, I like it. I mean, so far it's
Awesome.
been very informative. I mean, some of the stuff I kind of knew because, for instance, I already have one listed, but I think it's given me good ideas that maybe I didn't know. I just kind of been winging it. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm excited about it.
Oh, great. Glad to hear. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's see here. Jean has asked, I heard you talk briefly about pricing. I hopped on late. I'm interested to know your views. Yeah, so pricing, and Jean, I can, if you want to send me a message when we're done, I can send you a replay of this. Or if you go on the Facebook group that Robert mentioned above, that recording will be on there. But yeah, with pricing, you know, what we had said is basically, what's the type of RV? Is it drivable or towable? And then how many does it sleep? That's really your good starting point. And then really, it's what is your competition charging? So you look on the platforms and you see what are others charging. You can be somewhere around them, or you can charge whatever you want. You really just need to show the value, because if you're showing the proper amount of value, then it's worth it. Because really, if your competition is charging half of what you're charging, but the renter clicks into your listing and you have professional photos and your descriptions are talking about the experience and the feelings and the emotions of their getaway, and you include, 2 chairs and a s'mores kit and this and that and that, and your competition is half of yours, but they're your pricing, but they've got 5 pictures, they don't have any descriptions, doesn't tell you what it comes with, and you can't get a clear layout of the RV, well, then, somebody that's looking they're going to see better value in your listing, even though it's double the price, and, they'll book with you. Somebody that's all they're concerned about is price. Honestly, we've learned over the years, when you get people that start asking about discounts and deals, those are typically your most difficult renters that you're going to have. When they start asking into price breaks and deals, and, well, can you just deliver it for free and all that kind of stuff? Typically we'll just tell them, yeah, there's, I'm sure you'll find somebody out there that'll do that. But, our passion is providing a good quality service and an RV that's well maintained. And, so we have to stick to our prices, because we start taking shortcuts on prices. That means we're taking shortcuts on servicing these RVs and, making sure they're properly cleaned and sanitized and ready for you and your family to have an awesome getaway. So again, it just comes down to value and your, what's your value proposition? You showing them, hey, this is why we charge what we charge. Anybody got any other questions they want to go over?
I've got something that kind of just stirred in my head. As we've kind of picked up more consignment units and trying to get, underperforming units kind of in everybody's face, for lack of a better term, or in the spotlight, so that we can get those booked. We've kind of tried staying in different units, posting more on social media. Has that kind of seem to work when you have a quote unquote underperforming unit, or do you have a better strategy to get the schedules filled when they're not necessarily filling?
Sometimes you just get those units that, for whatever reason, you always have issues with them, or they're not performing. It's just kind of one of those things that you can't explain. And you either take the unit out of the fleet, or if the owner understands, then you just leave it on there especially when you have a fleet, because a lot of times that unit might actually be getting you clicks, on to view your inventory, but then they just end up booking something else. So it's, depending on where the owner's at, and they understand, and maybe they don't own anything on it. It's not a huge deal to them that it's not renting out much. Well, then you just maybe leave it on there because it's a lead generation tool for you. It's, getting somebody to click on it and actually book something else. But yeah, sometimes you just get those units that they just don't book, for
And it's
whatever
interesting.
reason.
So specifically, we have a bumper pool toy hauler, so it's smaller. And it doesn't book. But then as soon as you like bring it up to somebody, like if somebody calls me and they tell me that they're doing something that I think it'll work for, that's typically what they'll book. But then if I don't bring it up, like people don't think about it, and it drives me crazy because I just want the darn thing to book.
Yeah, so we've had that with those niche units. Yeah, like a toy hauler. Mainly really a toy hauler is probably your top unit that's going to be like that. We've had that as well out west where they kind of look funky, people don't understand like the functionality of it. And then, yeah, when you're talking to somebody and they tell you what their need is and you tell them, how the toy hauler will meet their need, then yeah.
And it's typically not even people with toys. It'll be people that are, they're going to have a water view or what have you. And I'm like, use this because then you have a deck. And they're like, oh, I never would have thought about that. And I'm like,
yeah. Oh, maybe put that into your title, deck, view friendly, and then in your description, put why it's view friendly. Well, you can fold the whole deck down and it opens up to, see everything behind you. Yeah, so you could definitely play around with your descriptions. See if that helps paint a better picture for them. Or instead of painting a picture, like give them the picture, if you deliver it somewhere where it's set up with a beautiful view, take a picture far back enough to where they can see like part of the hallway into the toy hauler back room into the view, and then put in the description of that, perfect for the, scenery where you want to, show the view of, what your setup is. Yeah, some of those can be a little hard, just kind of testing them out to see, okay, what's the best way to paint the picture. I have an Airbnb it's literally one triangle stacked on top of another triangle. It's a super cool house, but you can't get the best pictures of it because of the angles. And so we like put a ton of energy into describing it. And more describing like the emotions of how you feel being in it because it's so cool. And that's helped us, but we still get people that are confused until you get on the phone with them or until you start messaging. And then I have a 5-acre ranch. It has all these cabins and a swimmable pond and the city bus and this blood bus that were turned into cabins. And people never understand it. They're like, okay, where am I staying? In this bus or what? We actually rented the whole campground as one big, huge family retreat. And it's usually once they message them, like I've tried so many ways to explain it. And it's like, you just got to get on the phone with them for them to actually understand, what the property is. So it's interesting. Any other questions you guys got? Look, we're at 7:56 here. I'll probably wrap it right up at 8 since I got my friends here. Let me see here. Gene, thanks for your answer. I'm also wondering, this is my second season renting. At this point, is it normal that I only have half the summer season booked and none of the spring? Yeah, that's definitely very normal because like I was saying earlier, like our demographic, our client that we're going after, our renter, is mom that's booking their summer vacation. And what happens is this kind of coincides to state parks and federal parks, is their schedules open up like 6 or 12 months in advance. A lot of them are 6 months in advance. So say it's, February 1st, literally I have people at midnight. I remember when I first started this business, I'd be up at like 2 a.m. checking my phone. My wife's like, what are you doing? Well, moms will be on there booking the campsite as soon as the campground allow them to, and then they'd be right on the websites trying to find the RVs. And so I quickly learned it's like that's what they're doing. And so yeah, it's the June, July campers that like this is their one getaway for the summer. This is their vacation. They're on their booking, you know, for June, July. And then a lot of your rentals, yeah, you know, coming, you know, you start off on, I always forget which one it is, Memorial or Labor Day. I always forget which one is first. I think it's Memorial, the end of May. And then all of a sudden those rentals kind of trickle in last minute. You know, it's like people are going camping because us camper owners, like we're excited for that first weekend of camping, you know, and then their friends, you know, that they invite are like, oh yeah, okay, I'll go. So last minute they're looking for a camper. And then you get into like the actual, you know, premeditated renters that are June, July. And then the other, you know, a lot of rentals start trickling in. And then the other thing too, Gene, that I always like to mention is be careful with your minimums, especially this far out. If you're getting bookings for June and July, those should be minimum 5-night bookings. Honestly, they should be 7-night bookings. There should be like a Saturday to Saturday or Sunday to Sunday booking. If you do deliveries and stuff on Sundays, you shouldn't be taking bookings for June and July for 2 or 3 nights. You're leaving a lot of money on the table when you're doing that. Hopefully that helps you out. Let me see, what does it say here at the, should I work on advertisement in the slower season? Yeah, so in the slower season, you could definitely work on advertisement. And what you want to do for advertisement in the slower season, kind of like we talked about with some of these businesses, is what you want to be doing is you want to be putting together packages or ideas or planting seeds in people's minds. So if you know, hey, and the end of May, there's a festival in my area, there's a concert, there's a whatever high school football is starting up, put together packages and then promote those packages to the different Facebook groups. So you're actually giving the people the ideas of what they should be doing instead of just, okay, it's, you know, it's slower season, I'm going to lower my prices and put together a Facebook or Google ad or whatever. No, don't do that. Get very nichey and very specific and find, you know, whatever's going on, tailgating, this or that, put together that idea and then present that to people, because then that's actually stirring something. You know, there's, you could say for all those, you know, different, for all those different things, or whatever, family visiting, or have a, you know, get together with your family for Memorial weekend, do it right at your house. I'll deliver a camper, you know, that sleeps 6 people, and have a picture of, you know, family sitting outside by a campfire at someone's house. So it's a lot of it too. It's people just, when they think of camping, they just think of a campground. But we know a camper is really, it's a house on wheels. So you can do many things with it. You know, you might have people that they've got family events. They only are actually going to use a camper for an extra bathroom and sleeping at night. You know, so it doesn't have to be camping per se. It's literally, you have a home on wheels. How can that home on wheels, you know, be a blessing to somebody else? So, all right, we're at 8 o'clock on the dot. I see the grills going outside. Thank you guys for joining. It was good. This will be, the recording will be live in the Facebook group here shortly, so you guys can click in and see. And I'm going to try next Thursday. Actually, I won't be here. I'm going to a Tony Robbins event. So I'll be in St. Augustine at a Tony Robbins event for 4 days. But I'll see, maybe I'll get something next Wednesday night or something like that. And I'll throw it in the Facebook group and I'll throw out the link. So yeah, had a great time with y'all. Some great questions, and keep pushing forward in your RV rental journeys. You guys have a great night.